Good morning, everyone. Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. The sun is finally up. It's about 7:30 here. I've been up since 4. It was way too dark to make the intro to this piece. So I took my shower, I'm still damp, did my yoga. I meditate at night and do yoga in the morning, and it helps me stay balanced. It helps me get balanced. Anyway, my process that you don't see on the videos is I make the piece first off screen and take notes, and then I make the piece on screen following some of those notes, purely suggestions of course, and then the finished piece I put into the intro the next day or later on that day, so you can see the finished piece, so you can use that for motivation to get through the video. I am honored that so many of you are watching my videos, and some of you are even binging on my videos, which I think is amazing because you could be binging on so many things. And I'm glad you're choosing my videos to binge on. So here's the finished piece in my altered book. I always have a hard time getting this on the screen because I want to go backward. Are we on screen? A little bit over. Hopefully you can see that. Not too much glare. It's a very, very fun piece. I had a lot of fun doing this. So no more from me. See you on the table. Look how neatly I have the supplies arranged. Oh my goodness. All right, it's a treat to work with you in the middle of the afternoon and nobody's napping. And my fingernails are a mess, and that's okay. Because I'm just going to mess them up some more today with some Mod Podge and acrylics and who knows what else. All right, so let's just go through this supply list. You're going to need your Mod Podge. You're going to need a brush. Now my favorite brush is at class because I taught today, and I left it there. A toothbrush, scissors, maybe. You will need focal point for a 2-page spread. So I'm going to play with these and see how those turn out. You will need 3 colors that will pick up the colors of your focal point. So I chose these 3 colors. Set those off screen for now. A couple of rubber stamps. Your Stays on Ink pad. Of course, your book, and you'll need space in it for a 2-page spread. Fabric scraps. Now, if you've been following along, I've been playing quite a bit with the fabric that Jan gave me from her sister, her quilting sister, and so I have these all lined up to play with. And a stencil, and gesso, and a brayer. You think I got everything? Well, of course, your Stabilo and something to doodle with. That goes without saying. So let's grab our altered book. So I'm going to go to this section of my altered book. This page is actually broken from the other side. You can see where it's broken on the other side. And the fabric that we're going to use in this piece will actually heal this page. So this is really a good place for us to go. So I'm going to leave that because that's got more than 1 page glued together, and I'm going to glue 3 pages together on this side just using the Mod Podge. And you'll put a fair amount of Mod Podge on here. And then I'm going to close the book and let that pick up that other page all by itself, and then smooth it out. And I will do that to this page, and then that will bring me to the center of the 2-page spread. And then just wait and see. All right, so I've got the broken pages on this side, and then I've got 3 pages glued together on this side. Clearly not dry yet. That's okay. I'm going to take my little pieces of fabric, and my fabric pieces are probably about, I don't know, they're bigger than 1 by 1, but not much bigger than 1 by 1. And I'm going to start in the center here where it's the weakest. And I'm just going to put a piece of fabric down there, poke it in with Mod Podge on this substitute brush, which I'm very, very grateful for. And I'm just going to glue them down. Now you do want to put Mod Podge on top of the fabric. It changes the whole consistency of the fabric. It turns it into leather-like, leather-feeling fabric. It's amazing. It'll be perfect for this poor page that's been abused. And I rip the squares because I like the strings and the frayed edge. But you do whatever you need to do. It's a great activity to do in the evening while handsome hubby is trying to watch TV. Rip, rip. He's quite patient about it though, really. Okay. So I am just going to continue to do this on both of these pages. Ready? Out goes book number 1. And in comes book number 2. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, I have this side of the book perched up on a box so that it's a little bit more level. This says Return to C.W. Pressed, and this was on the original book. So I want to keep that if possible. So I'm just going to cover that up with some paper. I'm going to take the gesso, pour a little bit of gesso in onto my Teflon sheet that I got from Chris, which I love. If you don't have one, they certainly help the mess. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some gesso on there, spread it on my brayer a little bit, and then I am going to gesso these pages. Gesso that in place. I do want a fair amount because I want to calm that background down. It's gorgeous, but it is wild. So I'm just going to continue doing this until I get the amount of gesso on here that I want. Being as the fabric is uneven, the gesso goes on uneven, which I really like that. It's not solid, it's just in spots, which is really, really fun. I'm pretty happy with that side. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Alright, so here's our book with our fabric underpants. How about that? We get fabric underpants today. Fabric underpants. I was able to save this. And then gesso onto the underpants. And I'm going to take my heat stick and I am going to, look, little tag there from Chroma Storm Art. Thank you. I'm going to take the heat gun and I am going to dry this. Grab a gift card. Sorry about that. Alright, I'm going to take a peek at my focal points. I chose some fun colors for the background, but I just want to peek at what I want to do. Alright, I'm going to bring in this lime green. And just going to put some, put some dots of that around. I'm not going to try to preserve this now, that's fine. I don't care if the paint gets on it. And I'm just going to drag some color. And that's a sound, isn't it? Just going to drag that paint around onto both pages. Yummy already, huh? Beautiful. Okay, when I'm done playing here, which should be any moment now, I will take my heat stick to it and dry this. I love it already. So something very interesting happened to that paint while I was drying it. It kind of crackled. It isn't really a crackle, it's just like where the gesso came through, but it's a very interesting texture. Very happy with that. Little happy accident. You'll need a stipple brush. I keep changing the rules. Stipple brush or a makeup sponge. Anything that you can add color through a stencil. So I'm going to take my second color, which is going to be yellow, and I'm going to put it on my handy dandy Teflon sheet. I'll leave a link to that in the notes, in case you want to invest in that. And you're just going to go on the page and stipple some color with your stencil. Not all over the page. Just a nice organic look to it. Here and there. Oh, oh. Yep. Lori Marie's a happy girl. Love that. And I'm going to do that on a little bit more right here. Too much fun. All right. Okay, stop. Beautiful. I love it. And I am going to go, when I can obsessively stop this, I'm going to go to this side and do the same thing. Just add some little organic texture. Beautiful. Can she stop? She is almost there. Very nice. Alright, I am going to do that on this side. Alright, all dry. What I have to say is this little box under here, is most helpful because I can apply pressure to both sides. And this is actually the front of the book. So having that little box under there is very, very helpful. Anyway, take that rubber stamp, and here again, just organically go around here and add some more energy. We are still working on the background, and as you guys know, I spend a lot of time on my backgrounds. I love the backgrounds. Love them. And then we'll just go to the other side, which is not quite as firm because we're working on the fat book on that side. But we can still get lots of energy on there. That's great. Looks like some good energy to me. Next we are going to take our final color, which I chose the orange as my final color. And I'm going to put some on my handy dandy Teflon mats. Take my toothbrush, some moisture on it, dip it in that paint, and splatter. It's going to get on other pages. Do I love that? You bet I do. Oh. Just keeps getting better and better. All right, I'm going to call that good for the splattus. I'm going to dry this. It is time to bring on the focal points. These are some things that I was playing with. Arms in the way, sorry. Don't know quite how I'm going to use these things, but they certainly look fun. So I'm going to monkey around with these for a little bit, then I'm going to glue them down with my Mod Podge. Plain and simple. Wish that was a little longer. We'll figure out something. I kind of sort of know what I'm going to do. And forgive me for working upside down, but I need to face the page so that I can feel what's going on. Grab my substitute brush. And I'm just going for it. Some Mod Podge down. Thank goodness we have that little box under here to help support this piece while I'm smushing things down. And that is how I Mod Podge. That is how I Mod Podge my focal points. So this one, I'm actually putting that little king or prince in this elephant. So this I can do your way. So I'm just going to put him in there and let him adhere. Then I'm going to put him right there. Oh, that's just too much. All right, let's talk about these focal points for a minute. Remember that I wanted to save that from the original book, Return to CW Pressed. So I still want to keep that using this curtain. The curtain's going to hang over all edges, which I will trim later. And it was too short, So I just found another piece of another curtain, and I'm just going to glue that on there. Now all my focal points for this particular piece have been torn, okay? And this, I've got that little girl and she had a flower, but we're going to have her hold that clown's head, the clown's face, as her flower. So this is coming up a little bit, as it will, because we have so much texture under there. And I think what I'll do is I will wet my finger with some Mod Podge and just really push that down. You can't go in just with your finger because you'll start pulling the paper up, but you can go in with Mod Podge on your finger. Sniffles, I just had a sneezing attack. And you can really push those creases down. I don't care if there's creases. There's a lot of texture going on under here. The minute your fingers start getting sticky, stop, because you'll start pulling your images up. I'm going to glue this side down. So I want you to see how aggressive I am with my brush, with the Mod Podge on those focal points. Okay? Once it starts to dry, you cannot be this aggressive. But you can be this, should I say assertive? Maybe assertive is a better word. Very assertive with the focal point and your Mod Podge. Okay? Get that down as best you can. I am going to go walk Hudson. Supplies! I'm going to go walk Hudson while this dries, and then I will come back and... Okay, it's a little bit darker out now, so I've got my light on, which does create a problem, but it does make it light, so we'll deal with it. So next I'm going to come in with the Stabilo, and it's cute because I have some people that do not like to spit on their work, if you can imagine that. So we're going to work on a different technique for this Stabilo in some spots, i.e. around the focal point. Now I think I mentioned that all my focal points on this particular piece are ripped. They glue down easier and they actually Stabilo easier because it's not a crisp edge. So I'm going to take a Q-tip and get it wet and really squeeze that moisture out. In fact, I'm going to grab a paper towel to get some of that moisture out. And then I'm just going to go in here and shadow it out with that Q-tip. Now, one of you, and you know who you are, said you're using a sponge and your finger. So we know how that would work. That would work just fine, but I don't need to demonstrate that because that's pretty self-explanatory, but I did want to show you how the Q-tip works too. So you still get a shadowed look. And then I'm just going to go around my piece. Shadow her out. As there's less moisture on my Q-tip, you can see that it shadows a little bit better. This is still a bit crisp in there for me. Shadow that out. There we go. And I'm going to do this around all of the focal points and the edges of the pages. And then I will bring her back and show you. Oh, there we go. Ha ha ha. Not as this much moisture on that Q-tip, then it shadows it out better. So that's just another option that you can use, okay? Good to have options. I'm going to finish Stabiloing. I turned the bright light off because it was just too glary on the piece. So you can see where I have Stabiloed around here using that Q-tip. Gives it a little bit different look. It's very fun. I'm going to take my, watch your eyes, here comes the light. I'm going to take my white paint pen and just go around some of the areas to create some fun energy. Oh my goodness. Yep. Very fun. I would do the introduction to this tomorrow when the sun comes up so you can see it a little bit better. I apologize for the glare. That's annoying. Can we do it without the light? We'll see. Good enough for now. We'll be able to see it better tomorrow. I'll show you the finished piece in the introduction tomorrow. Very, very, very fun piece. All right, enough of that. Go create, go play, go have fun. Thanks for joining me. Subscribe if you haven't. Please leave comments. Please, much appreciated. YouTube loves that. Share. I'm kind of down in my shares, down in my subscribers. So share. Maybe somebody you know will enjoy the journey with us. Go play.